Hello and welcome to a new video. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. In the background of me, in the background, I hope you guys can see that on camera, is actually Table Mountain. I am currently in Cape Town for a very short visit with my family and friends. I haven't seen them in a year and 4 months since I've been to Portugal, so it was high time I came to visit my family. Beautiful, sunny South Africa. In the week leading up to my trip to South Africa, I got a couple of things done. I started some of the work that I was starting to do myself on the renovation side of the project, some things that needed to get done, and I got a surprise visit from the builder just before I came. Sorry, there's a lot more traffic than on the farm, but let me show you what happened before I came through to South Africa. Hello and welcome. I'm Christine, an expat originally from South Africa. I moved to Portugal in October of 21. This is my adventure as a solo expat on a farm in Central Portugal with my 2 fur kids, Shakti and Shiva. I've never owned or lived on a farm, but I moved to Portugal in the hope of fulfilling a lifelong dream in finding an open space, subsistence farming, and a safer, better life. Now that we have found our farm, the second stage of our journey begins. I have to figure out farm life while renovating an agricultural structure to make it habitable and turn it into a comfortable home for me and my fur kids. Follow along our journey. This is Girl Meets Farm. Gotta start somewhere. May as well be starting with the mold cleanup. On the plasterboard, I've done half the section already, and the granite also needs to be done. This is just a bleach and water mix that we're putting on this to kill all the fungus off, and once that dries I can scrape it down properly or just sponge it off. All the cement still needs to be scraped off anyway, but first we've got to get rid of all the mold spores, so here we go. Right, both sides of the granite I have now sprayed down with the bleach and water mixture. I'm going to let that dry over 24 hours and then do it again. I have also done the bottom of all the plasterboards. Sorry, that might be moving too fast. And this must now dry as well over 24 hours. I must still do the top halves. And I will now start on the bottom halves of all of these, which are actually pretty bad. Might not come up on camera, but it looks pretty terrible. And all the way up to the top of the roof. I'm going to spray what I've got, see what's left over, let it sit for 24 hours, do it again, and then I can maybe put the first prime paint on. Both sides of the roof has now been sprayed down until the first white line on the plasterboard, so I still have to do the pitch. Some of the sections are starting to dry already. It's been maybe 40 minutes. And it's already looking so much better. I'll still give it 2 treatments. I've heard that sometimes these marks, the mold marks, won't go away, but at least the mold will be killed, and then hopefully when I paint it should get rid of all the marks, and also should make it more difficult for mold to get hold into the plasterboard. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just get rid of the mold so that I can paint and not have to worry about this again. Right, I found some scaffolding outside because my ladder is just not going to be long enough to reach this middle section of the pitch. So I'm gonna tear the scaffold and just spray the last middle bit of the pitch with what I've got left. I still have to do both sides of the pitch as well. You know, I still have to do both sides of the pitch as well, so we'll see how far this goes. The dry side's actually already looking a lot better. Wow, look at this. That's definitely looking better than it was. Amazing. Right, let's try this. My confidence in the scaffold is not very high. I've locked them all. Right, here we go. Isn't it funny, but also rather awful at the same time, how things that you never used to be afraid of, you get more and more fearful of as you grow older? As a child, I used to run on single brick walls 2 meters high in the air, run across the walls like for fun. I used to climb walls, climb trees, and now I'm scared growing up something not even that high off the ground. It's a little, and I've got a little bit of vertigo, and it's so funny how things just change as we get older. 2 days after I started with the bleaching of the ceilings, I did one coat 2 days ago, which was Tuesday. I let it stay over night until the Wednesday, dry out, and then I did a second coat. Today is Thursday. I've let it dry and it is already looking so much better in here. It is now the afternoon. I had to let it dry quite a bit. Some areas there's still some wet patches, but the one side is dry enough for me to get going. This side still needs to dry. So I can maybe paint this one tomorrow. But it has made such a difference just bleaching for 2 days. The bathroom actually dried quite nicely as well. Redid the bathroom all the way up also. And yeah, that's dried nicely. So I'm gonna try and do the first coat of paint today. Before I can start painting, however, I do need to just wipe down all of the surfaces, check some of the areas, some of the joint areas have not been sanded yet. Sadly, whoever packed away my sandpaper ruined everything. It is all wet. Everything I had is absolutely wet and now unusable. I managed to find 2 pieces that might be salvageable. So I'm going to try and use those 2 pieces and see how far I can get. Luckily the one side has been sanded and that's the side that I'm painting tomorrow, hopefully. The side that is dry, that is ready to paint, has not been sanded. So I'm going to try and sand and do the masking tape as I go along. Hopefully the masking tape attaches, because even the masking tape was a little wet and I don't know if that's going to work. There's one that is still in a packet. So let's start with that one and see if I can get it all sticking, because I really want to try and get through half the roof today. Tomorrow is our last day of sunshine It may not be warm, but at least it's not raining. So I desperately need to get a coat of paint on the ceiling, because apparently it will help with not allowing the mold to get a foothold in the plasterboard, or the drywall as some people call it. So I desperately need to get that up and going. So here we go. Let's hope that this works today. Good news. This sealed packet of masking tape is sticking. So I'm going to continue masking off all of the wooden beams just for this bottom section, all the way down these rows, and then I'm going to start painting these. Probably continue with the bottom half, or just move it over, and then, well, we'll see how I go. I just finished a round of sanding. Probably not the best idea to be wearing black when sanding those white things. Right. It's all masked up. I've sanded the section where I can get to. I'm just going to wipe it down with a damp cloth, and then we should be able to start with some of the painting. Unfortunately, absolutely nothing was left clean by the construction company. Even the paint trays, nothing was cleaned or tidied up. I'm still throwing away rubbish and beer bottles from the site, my home, and inside the structure, regardless. So what I'm doing is, I can't get the old paint out, so I've just covered it with plastic bags, and this will have to do. It keeps things neat and tidy, and obviously I can reuse the paint tray now. Although you do get plastic, I guess, interiors for the tray, plastic trays to put inside this tray. I did buy some, they never used them, so it is what it is. We can use this now. Let's see how we go. I don't really have a mixing bowl, as I figured I probably need to dilute the primer a little bit. Although it says that it's ready to paint directly on the plasterboard, I was thinking of diluting it just a little bit for the first coat, and then see how that adheres to the plasterboard, and then decide if I want to do a full coat afterwards again. But we do need to just get something on there, and something that will dry before the rain starts in 2 days. So since I don't have a mixing bowl, I just cut up one of my water bottles, and I'm going to use this as the bowl to mix. Actually, that does look quite runny. Let's see. Maybe I really don't need to. Not a lot, but I am going to dilute that a bit. We'll follow the same formula for all of them. To start, I'm just going to do the corners of where they are next to the beams before I do the roller. Here we go. First lesson, I diluted that far too much. I think it was about 25% dilution that I got, but because the product was actually already a little bit runny and it doesn't say that you shouldn't dilute it, I thought dilution was going to be best, but it's really very diluted. So I'm going to try a section with just the paint without dilution, see how that goes on, and then I may just mix the diluted back together with the paint just to get a thicker consistency so that it doesn't go to waste, and then continue painting after that. Undiluted, definitely better. So although the product didn't say no dilution, don't dilute this one. Battery died before I could show any of the painting. It's the next day, it's Friday, it's the last good day of weather, of sunshine, no rain. And it's the last day for me to try and finish this roof. But I've done the first quarter, I guess, and it's not looking too badly. I don't think I'm a great painter, but it is the first coat and we just needed to get something on there, and it's going on and it's drying well. I really like this product actually. Now to finish the other 3/4 of this roof, and then I still have to do silicone all the glass bricks and do the bathroom as well. If you're wondering what that noise is, I've got the heater running just to warm things up because it's currently 4 degrees outside. It was another 0 degrees overnight, and this morning was icy cold. It is now almost 10 a.m. and it's taken up from now to get to 4 degrees. It was 1 up until pretty much now, and slowly warming up since this morning. Icy cold. The paint requires a minimum of 10 degrees to paint, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Just warm it up to start painting and hopefully finish today. I've been painting. The building crew have been back to come and help me clear the rubble with the digger. How amazing does this space already look? And look, I finally got my water trench back. And now the water can hopefully run out as much as possible and no longer dam up in here. It already makes such a big difference. All of this rubble, I've asked them to go and put on in this space just next to the warehouse here, so that one day as a project, just falling over things. One day as a project, I'll be clearing all of this and then making this a carport as well. So that gets rid of a lot of the rubble for me. Good boy. Painting is going a lot slower than I'd realized, but it's going. The rustling is my beautiful painting outfit. But it is now half day, it is lunch break, and I wish I could say I was 100% halfway, but I'm not. So a lot to do still this evening or this afternoon. This whole section and the middle section, and of course the bathroom. But I'm certainly not an expert in painting, but it is getting there. It'll get there. Oh, they've also filled this hole for me Just that little bit more to go still, and then this wall will all be covered up again. Wonderful. It's the end of the week. We had a nice week where the rain stayed at bay, just enough for everything to dry out, and I started painting the ceiling. Well, first I fixed the mold, then painted the ceiling. Unfortunately, I didn't finish because the rain started up again yesterday, and it showed a couple of leaks in the roof. So I've decided to stop painting and wait until that either dries out, or I can keep an eye on the roof, or we have a few more days of no rain where we can fix the roof properly. Unfortunately, it's also not just the corner. This actually got pretty bad last night, and there was water streaming down here to the floor, and inside the electrical box the water was coming in, and this whole area was full of water dripping down the wall. It was so full of water. The top section there, although you won't be able to see anything now, again the water is just sitting on that Tyvek. I don't know if that's just condensation. I still firmly believe that it's not just condensation. But now all of these plasterboards were bone dry this week for me to paint, and this is all water coming through. This is not condensation. This is definitely coming through from the top of the roof. So I'm going to leave all of this unpainted. I did manage to do the whole bottom side. Sadly, we'll probably have to take off all these plasterboards. And this side is looking really good. This side is a lot drier than this side of the pitch, but there are still sections, I'm not really sure if this is going to come up, that is wet. But it's certainly a lot drier than the other side of the pitch. So yeah, I have to cease painting. I spoke with the builder about it. I sent him photos of the leaks from last night and where the water was just all streaming through that wall. I sent him photos of all of this plasterboard where it's clear that it's not just condensation. Especially because all of them were bone dry up until Friday. Today is Sunday, so that was just 2 days ago. So he said that he's going to come, he's going to hopefully come this week, tomorrow, which is Monday. It's raining mostly all of this week, so the best he can do is to put a tarp up over the main ridge area where it's the worst, so it stays out the electrical box at least. And then hopefully if we have some days of no rain, we'll have to do the big thing that we've been trying to avoid, take off all the roof tiles, take off the ridge and redo that again and hope for the best. I'll keep you guys posted in the week to see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed.
Just getting the mason started for you. I'll cut some more in my pen.
Since the roof has been replaced, although we haven't had any heavy rains, all the plasterboard now seems to stay dry. There's no more patchy wet spots or big wet blotches that used to be on these boards. Over there you can actually see, not sure if it's going to translate on camera, but the bleached, almost bleached areas is where there was constantly water on the boards. But for the most part it's all dry, so I'm quietly optimistic it will stay this way. So the condensation in here has also gotten a lot better. It's not as cold in here either. And all the water droplets that were over here in the roof area has now also disappeared. We had a little rain and the water used to run down here, but the wall is dry. We'll have to see how things go with heavier rainfall, but I'm quietly optimistic and this looks really, really good. The final look of the roof. That middle ridge is now gone. So it's all one roof and a new top ridge all the way across. It actually looks pretty good.